Welcome to ECHE Music TV. We're so glad that you're here with us today. We provide tips, tools, techniques, and resources for your success in the music business. Today, we're going to talk about what exactly is personal branding and why you need it. But first, we're going to speak to Nate Sakany. I think that's how you say his name. He'll correct me when he comes on. From Incubator Creative Group. He will talk to us about a great conference coming up that I wanted you to hear about. It's called the Music Ministry Explosion Conference. And so he's going to talk to us about that. So when we come back, we're gonna be speaking to him. Okay, so the first song that we're playing today is called Happy Hour by Andre Nostalgic Brown. So see you after the break.
Raise your hand if you need God to deliver you from the everyday struggle. I'm Andre Nostalgic, along with Glory. We welcome you to Happy Hour. Come on!
Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight. Come on, everybody, let's socialize.
Come on.
Take a break from
Come on.
the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight.
Well, it happened on Hump Day, a day after Tuesday, a week before a pay raise. I was screaming. I lost my only job to an employer named Bob, who hired me as a clerk last summer for his company. Called me to his office just before 12. I have bad news, the budget took a hit. A major setback I just can't fix. Gotta let you go, but I want you to know you're a heck of a worker and it's nothing personal. Here's your last check, let me show you to the door. On my way out, I ran into Dan, a certified Christian born and raised. Here's the conversation regarding my termination. Sorry you got fired for being last hired. Just come pray at the local church that serves communion on 58 and 3rd.
Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5.
Say what?
Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight.
That's right.
Come on, everybody, let's socialize,
Come on.
relax, take a break
Come
from
on.
the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight.
I arrived at the church a quarter after 5. The venue was nice and the vibe was cool. Like an Eskimo's igloo, it was smooth as ice. I surveyed the scene as I approached the altar. There were many professionals around the altar, praying, networking, and socializing about various topics in a place of worship. It's an hour of happiness with a touch of class. 2 shots in a glass. Pastor asks, what are you drinking? The blood of Jesus, Christ's best from the kingdom of heaven. I looked to my left and there was Dan, consoling a lady from the MIA, affected by furlough effective today. With no pay, I must say, we all need deliverance from the devil's plan.
Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight. Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight.
I'm a slide, Dan. Why you leaving so early? I gotta go, but it's 9:30. My curfew ass fast. What do you mean by that? If I don't get home, my behind is grass. I still have to explain to Mary Ann about getting canned. Good luck, man. Hey, thanks again for inviting me. No problem, my friend. Take care of yourself. Happy hours anywhere you like to go to find a peace of mind from the daily grind. I get a way spot to relax and unwind after working hard on the 9 to 5. So whenever you're having a difficult day, don't worry, be happy. People stay encouraged no matter what. Keep your head to the sky. Live life to the fullest. You only have one.
Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight. Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight. Come on, everybody, let's socialize, relax, take a break from the 9 to 5. Happy hour starts at 5 o'clock. Here's 2 for 1 blessings at the church tonight.
It's there.
Okay,
Sakany, right?
Sakany. Put a sack over.
Hello, everybody. We're back with Nate Sakany. He is the founder and president of Incubator Creative Group and author of The Music Ministry Entrepreneur and the Non-Nashville Blueprint for Music Ministry. Welcome to the show, Nate. Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here today.
I wanted you to come on and give us an overview of the incubator and what you do there.
Okay. Well, we like to describe what we do what our company is as a ministry label, and it's where a record label releases records, ministry label releases ministries. So we're really about releasing ministries and making sure all the pieces of an artist ministry come together and it gets out there where for the audience that God has for it.
Okay. So where did you come up with the name Incubator? Why choose that name if you're a label?
Well, way back in the late 70s, I think it was, or early 80s, I don't remember. I worked with something that was called a business incubator up in the Seattle area where we started, and it was just a company designed to help early stage businesses of all kinds get going. And so when I started our company up, actually we started it as a record label in 1989. I thought, that's really what I want my company to be about releasing and helping brand new ministries get started. So we thought, well, let's call it Incubator. It seems to be a good fit. It's sort of a nurturing environment where you're protecting and helping fragile little artists as they're beginning their ministry.
Right. So it's like birthing babies, really. What the womb is to a baby, it
Yes.
nurtures that child and give that child nutrients and what it needs to launch into the world.
Correct. That's a great analogy.
Okay, that's fantastic. So tell us about the origin and the purpose of the Music Ministry Explosion Conference. I heard it's coming up next month in Virginia Beach.
Yes, and I don't have the dates actually in front of me. I believe it's it's a Friday, Saturday, the 21st, 22nd, I think it is. I don't have a calendar right up in front of me. But yes, that is our dates for Virginia. We're doing these actually in 7 cities across the country. But the Music Ministry Explosion is a very unique type of conference. And it takes all of the basic content that we teach our artists as a new ministry and how you get going, and packages it up all with the idea of how to take your music ministry beyond Sundays, is how we say it. Not just doing something in your church. It's not a worship conference at all. It's about really getting you and your message and your ministry outside of your local church and out there where you can evangelize or encourage other Christians and just branch out from where you are in your own church.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. A lot of artists need help in that area.
Right. Well, there's a lot of wonderful workshops out there on worship, and the whole new worship movement is a wonderful thing. But, the thing that we realized is, of course, we started our company in 1989 at the kind of the pinnacle of what they called contemporary Christian music, which was the real birth of Christians using their music to impact culture. And there was a real focus on reaching outside of the church walls into the culture, into community. And I think we've kind of lost that a little bit with this big focus that we have on worship. Worship's wonderful for us who are already in the family, but we really like the idea of using music and your gifts and your songwriting abilities and your voice to reach out and to kind of get to people maybe who don't get a chance to know about God.
That's so true. Because I know music, depending on what style of music you have and that you play, you can reach people who would never even think about setting foot in a church if you were to, play music that somebody outside of the church would be more interested and more attracted to.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's that was the heartbeat of contemporary Christian music back in the 70s and 80s into the 90s before it kind of imploded in the 2000s. It was really about reaching out and using music to talk to people and to kind of present all the aspects of life, as a Christian. And people, you're right, people will listen to a song and will, sit in a concert that would never listen to a sermon or sit in a church service.
That's awesome. So, do you have any success stories from the Music Ministry Explosion?
Well, the Music Ministry Explosion is, of course, just a conference. It's one of the ways that we package up the material and stuff that we do. You know, as far as us as a company, we've worked with artists now for 30 years and have lots of stories of people who really have been impacted by what we do, and then how their ministries have gone on to impact others. And you know, because we work with startups, and we have a philosophy of obscurity. That sounds really weird, but we believe in obscurity as a principle, and actually building on obscurity and using that to your advantage as an artist. So, you know, we don't really have anybody that we would point at and say, here's somebody who's made it big, you know, in the music industry, because that's not what we're about. We're really about helping people do what they do, whether it's part-time or full-time, right in their locale. They may not be ever really well known, but they can have a sustainable ministry.
So it's about really being able to sustain your ministry and maybe even do it full-time, not necessarily becoming a household name.
Right, yeah, and you know, I was reading an article this week about what if we all really became like Jesus? Jesus didn't really have a very prominent ministry. He, of course, was well known in his circles, and it was, you know, pretty radical in his approach, but you know, he didn't hit the world stage as it was. Of course, there wasn't a world stage back then, but you know, when you really are a servant and you're doing ministry for what ministry is intended to be, it isn't always a very glamorous thing, and you know, it kind of tends toward obscurity. However, we believe, and this is part of what the ministry entrepreneur system is about, is that if you apply good common sense business to that, you can sustain either a part-time or a full-time ministry, even though you do have obscurity.
That makes so much sense. I like to call indie artists musicpreneurs because they're musicians as well as entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think every artist knows that they kind of are not necessarily really good at the business parts of it. Nobody really likes to focus on the business part of it. I mean, we do music because we love music, but
that's not
if
the
you
fun
want
part.
that to survive and be sustainable, it's a big word that we use, then you have to attend to a certain amount of business stuff, as it were.
Right.
And we've actually integrated all of that into a whole system of things. It's based upon 7 different principles that I've discovered, and I've been doing this now for 40 years. I feel really old, but I've discovered these 7 principles of business that also integrate with ministry, and they, if you kind of put them all together, it makes the business side so much easier, and you don't have to really focus on the business side. It kind of takes care of itself, but you have to build it with a lot of intention and a very strategic objective in mind.
That makes sense. That's my philosophy as well. So I looked at my calendar, and it looks like, so it's not the last Friday and Saturday in the month, it's the one before that, is that right? The 22nd and 23rd?
Like I say, I wish I should get a calendar up in front of me here so I can speak intelligently, but it's the 21st, 22nd, is that right?
The 22nd and the 23rd are Friday and Saturday.
Okay, well, maybe that's it. Let's see. It's in June. So, yeah, 22nd and 23rd. You're
okay. Right. Okay, so where do we go to get information about the conference and to register?
Okay. Well, there's a couple unique things about the conference itself. Let me first of all give you the website where you can get all the details. It's explosionconference.com. Explosion, just like it sounds. Conference, just like it sounds. .com. And when you go there, there's lots of information about what we're doing and how it's happening. And we have one of the things that's probably the most unique about the conference is, we say it this way. First of all, the conference comes to you, then you come to the conference. And what I mean by that is we have more than 7 hours of online modules that are a preparation for the live event. And they lay a foundation for what we're covering at the live event. And they're completely free. There's no charge for step 1, where the conference comes to you. That helps you kind of get an idea of whether this is really something for you. But then, as I mentioned, lays a great foundation for the conference itself. And then the live event is something that, if you qualify going through all of those materials, and it looks like it's something that fits you, then you can register for the live event, which
Oh, okay.
is happening there.
So it's not a free-for-all where you just show up and join. You have to
No, well, we're
go
looking
through
for
the
people that are very
materials.
serious about their ministry. There's two
Okay.
real important things here. You know, a lot of people are interested in a conference, but you know, they kind of just figure, well, I'll show up at a conference in 2 days, and that'll be the magic bullet that launches me into ministry. Well, that's one of the things we've discovered is that doesn't work. You have to really be committed to work and to learning and to growing personally, and so that's one of the reasons that we have the 7 hours worth of material. I mean, this material is phenomenal. It includes the non-Nashville blueprint, which you mentioned, and several other great modules, lays a foundation and really kind of opens your eyes to the possibilities of how you can expand your music ministry. So a person really needs to be committed to growing personally to do that.
Okay.
And then the second thing is we've used a principle for many years called active relational training. And what that means is you get involved in this material before we show up there. And so then when we get a room of people together that have all been through this same material and have a common understanding of things, first of all, we're further along. We don't have to teach that 7 hours worth of material at the live event. We can kind of go on to step 2. And there's just a great excitement among the people. It's a little bit more like a family reunion than it is a seminar.
So everybody's pretty much starting from having done the preliminary work.
Right.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I wish I could tell you
It's very
that,
different.
you know, yeah, it is different. But like I said, this is it's a very specialized thing, and people have to really be serious about ministry. And I wish I could tell you that it doesn't take a lot of work to make a ministry go, but, you know, I would be lying if I told you that.
Well, yeah, I understand about, you know, hard work. You know, it's in all my years in this business, I have seen, you know, artists trying to do it the easy way, and then and it just kind of crashing and burning on them, you know. And they come crawling into conferences realizing like, hey, the way I've been doing it hasn't been working. Okay, now give me the steps I need to take. What do I need to do now? You know.
Yeah, we used to be corporate sponsors of the Estes Park seminar in the Rockies, you know, for years when that was still going on. And Babby Mason and I were talking one time, and it was funny. She used to teach a class at the workshops there. Now that I haven't won the contest, now what do I do?
Right, right.
And that's the reality, because everybody would come to these big events, you know, and all join the contest and the songwriting contest or the performance contest with the thought that they are going to win and that's going to be the big break, and then they would be all deflated when that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So then you could finally start to tell people, all right, look, let's get honest. Let's talk about the real issues here.
And I've seen that even some artists who do win the contest, it's still not the magic bullet that launches them into the stratosphere where they want to go to being that household name.
Right. Well, you know, I've been in business for self-employed or owning a business for more than 40 years. And that was one of the things I discovered early on, just in business in general, is that, you know, it's more than a job. You know, I mean, sometimes it's more than 40 hours a week to make it work. But you have to really be committed to making things work as a business. And you know, there's a great joy in doing that when you love what you do. But it takes a good deal of work. And I think sometimes as musicians, it's really easy for us to get the joy out of playing and doing what we do. I guess that's why they call it playing.
Right.
But we don't always attend to the work side of it. And that's
Right.
one of the real critical keys that we've discovered is you have to approach what you're doing in the exact same way as you would any other business and make business decisions that make sense for a small business. You know, there's a lot of things in the music business
Right.
that just really don't make any sense as a small business. Is one of our principles that you can look at the way everybody does things in the music business, and you can go out of business really quickly because they don't make any sense as a small business. And so we try to bring that practicality and that common sense to music ministry to help people have a sustainable ministry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on and explaining to us about the Music Ministry Explosion and what you do there. Give us the contact information again and the website where we can go and register.
Yes, it is explosionconference.com. explosionconference.com.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nate. We
It's my
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
It's good to talk with you.
Good to talk with you too.
Blessings.
God bless you.
Okay.
Thanks. We'll be back after this song from D. Brown.
Simone?
Okay. Oh, we haven't gotten off camera yet.
Your love is amazing to me. Your love is amazing to me.
Your grace, it falls like the rain. It covers all my brokenness and allows your love to reign. You touched my heart and healed my soul. Now my heart is overflowing with a love untold. All I know is
Your love is amazing to me.
you have satisfied my soul. Your love has made me whole.
Your love is amazing to me.
During my darkest days, your love has come to light my way. People wonder why there's so much pain in this world today. They're living so afraid. Oh, but when I see the sun and the glory of his light, I know there is a hope. When you seek, you will find. All I know is
Your love is amazing to me.
you have satisfied my soul. Your love has made me whole.
Your love is amazing to me.
During my darkest days, your love has come to light my way. While I yet was in sin, your love came in and saved a wretch like me. Oh, I was lost, but now I'm found. Your love came down and stretched his arms and died for me.
Your love is amazing to me.
You've satisfied my soul. Your love has made me.
Your love is amazing to me.
During my darkest days, your love has come to light my way.
We're back. Once again, that was Nate Sakany from Incubator Creative Group talking about the Music Ministry Explosion Conference coming up this June 23rd, 22nd and 23rd in Virginia Beach. And we're going to play this video giving you a little bit more information about the conference, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to talk about what is branding and why do you need it. Branding is more than just marketing yourself and your music. It encompasses your image or the impression that you want to give and project to your audience. So it's encompasses what everything that you want them to think about you and your music. Think about your favorite artist. What comes to mind when you think about them besides their music? What impression do they give you? And what do they make you think of when you're thinking about this artist? Are they a rebel? Are they a rule follower? Are they traditional? Are they more kind of out there? Are they hippie-ish? What is it about them that what about them gives you that impression? That is their branding, and they intentionally do things, say things, dress in a certain way to give you that impression that you have of them. Why should you cultivate a personal brand? Some reasons include it makes you stand apart from the crowd. Your branding is what's unique about you. It gives you, your fans, a consistent message about you. When they think about you, it brings into their heads a specific image, a specific impression, and it helps them to get an idea of what to expect from your music. I'll tell you a little story. Once I was at a what do you call it? A showcase, and a woman came up front to start singing, and from the way she was dressed, I had an impression in my mind of what her song was going to sound like. I thought her song was going to be traditional, but when she opened her mouth to sing, and I heard the music playing, she sounded more neo-soul. So the way she was dressed, her branding said one thing, but her message and her song said something else. So branding is very important. It's important to invest time and money in your personal branding because it projects a message to your audience. And it also creates an emotional bond with your audience. And when you create an emotional bond with your audience, then when you're asking them to buy your CD or invest in support your ministry and what you have to offer, then they are not thinking about cost. They're thinking about, oh, I like this person. I want to support this person. I know what to expect from this person. So yeah, I'm going to invest and I'm going to support this ministry. So that is why you need a brand, and why it's so important to you for your music and your ministry. Today we talked about the Music Ministry Explosion Conference coming up. Next week we'll be talking about the Immerse Conference coming up in Nashville. This is summer, and it is time for music conferences. So I've put together a conference survival guide. So if you would like to receive that guide, please email me at info@echemusic.com, and I would love to send it to you. So we're going to go out with a song by Sounds of Imani called It's All Right. Thank you for watching.
It's alright. It's gonna be okay.
right again.
Having hard times going on my mind. Had so many trials and tribulations till I thought I couldn't make it, but I can.